be outrageous. Bill knows he'd be brought in for a potential loss to Ryback. That's not the issue, says this source. When negotiations started, the idea was that Bill would be brought in as the babyface. He wanted a finish that would allow him to save face in time, even though he was ready and willing to be pinned by Ryback. The issue is that Vince has been considering turning Ryback babyface and wanting Goldberg to come back as a heel. So far, that's been a major sticking point, and we're told Goldberg doesn't want to be a heel right now. He says it's a deal breaker. This source continues to go on and say, it is unsure if more money would convince him to change his mind. However, some fear Vince is determined on Ryback being the babyface. And there is some talk of Ryback as a babyface facing Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. And if they go that direction, the plan would be for Lesnar to go over and then face The Undertaker at WrestleMania. And this would set up the aforementioned Ryback versus Goldberg bout, with Ryback going over. So as you can see, WWE and Bill Goldberg are this close to signing a deal. Although there are a few glitches here where one side doesn't want to sign because of this and the other one doesn't want to sign because they don't want to change it that way. But could we see it? Well, I think as we get closer to WrestleMania, Vince McMahon is going to do what he has to do and what he feels he should do to get and bring in the biggest stars there are, especially for WrestleMania 30. Well, that was it for our ringside report, and we are just going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to have a huge Survivor Series preview show.
I went on down to the Audubon Zoo, and they all asked for you. They all asked for you. Well, they even inquired about you.
April 5th, 2013, you just heard the SWO on sale announcement for the PWR show, and Shenanigans present the Shenanigans World Order. And of course, April 5th, 2013, for more information, please go to pwrshow.com and go there. Buy your tickets. If you're going to be in New Orleans, you go down there and you go party with these guys. As you know, the sweet Kevin Nash, the sweet and sexy Kevin Nash is going to be there. Signing autographs, having a few beers. Go down there. Join them. April 5th, 2013 in New Orleans. It is now time to get to our Survivor Series preview with our match card, possibly potential spoilers, predictions, and more. Well, there will be no new champions at WWE Survivor Series, but the pay-per-view will showcase a number of rising stars. I'm going to stop right here. You think that's a spoiler? I'm afraid it's not. It is a potential spoiler, yes, but really, you just got to use your mind here, your professional wrestling mind, your WWE mind here. Turn on your WWE light bulb. And do you think that John Cena is going to drop the title at Survivor Series with as much momentum he's got? I don't think he is. What about Randy Orton and The Big Show? Sadly, none of us can take this rivalry seriously enough, and we'll have more on this coming up when we talk about the match. But I don't really see Big E Langston dropping his title, and I don't see a lot of these other guys dropping their title at the Survivor Series pay-per-view. And, you know, the company's history, with, like, John Cena and Alberto Del Rio, they usually give it to John Cena. It's rare when they'll hand it over to Alberto Del Rio over Cena, but you just, especially it being in John Cena's hometown of Boston, Massachusetts, you don't really see it, him dropping the title, and like I said, you don't really see Orton dropping the title to the Big Show either. But let's go to some news, rumors, and potential predictions/spoilers for this. As you know, Mysterio will be limited in his traditional tag team elimination matches due to, he's just getting out of his injury. And, after making a surprise return on the November 18th edition of Monday Night Raw, you saw signs of Mysterio's knee was still in bad shape. As you know, it was kind of popped up a little bit. And WrestlingInc.com reported that Mysterio was seen limping on his way to the ring and after Raw went off the air. And that report also states that Mysterio was limping in the backstage area as well. And these sightings of a hobbled Mysterio don't bode well for fans expecting to see him light up the ring. And WrestlingInc.com, of course, sadly has some worse news. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer writes that Mysterio was reportedly not ready to return on Monday's Raw, but WWE officials asked him to come back since he wouldn't have to do much in the 10-man match at Survivor Series. This could mean that Mysterio stands on the apron for most of the bout, while everyone else gets eliminated early. Ryback is not scheduled to be on the show, but what he said in a recent interview hints at WWE possibly putting him in a last-minute match. As you know, he told CBS Radio in Boston, Massachusetts, the following: "The open challenge is out there. I'm kind of a bully. I like a good fight, and I like picking on people. If it's someone bigger than me, so be it." And many are speculating in the IWC that this potential is a man that is much bigger than him. Mark Henry. Could the Hall of Pain be coming back? As Mark Henry took to Twitter this past week, almost back. Raw got me ready to do someone bad. Hall of Pain ready for the next inductee. Well, should Henry return at the pay-per-view, he will need a new victim, and with Ryback reportedly still in WWE's doghouse, as WrestlingInc.com reports, there is still a quick victory awaiting him. Now let's talk about the match card. The match card thus far, as you know, is Kofi Kingston versus The Miz in the kickoff show. Then we got Curtis Axel versus Big E Langston for the Intercontinental Championship. Cody Rhodes and Goldust, Rey Mysterio and the Usos versus The Shield and the Real Americans in a traditional Survivor Series elimination match. Then we've got the Divas, AJ Lee, Tamina Snuka, Summer Rae, Caitlyn, Rosa Mendez, Oksana, and Alicia Fox versus JoJo Offerman, Eva Marie, Natalya, and the Funkadactyls, and the Bellas in a traditional elimination match at Survivor Series. Then we get CM Punk and Daniel Bryan versus Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. And then we get John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio in the World Heavyweight Championship match. And then we get our main event, Randy Orton versus The Big Show for the WWE Championship match. Let's talk about our predictions now. In the kickoff match, newly turned heel The Miz begins the newest phase of his career with a win. Miz needs to re-establish himself now that he is a villain once more, starting fresh, and a win over Kingston provides a mini boost of momentum for whatever WWE has planned for him next. Kingston has been used more as a victim lately, losing to Fandango on Wednesday's main event, for example. Well, what about the Intercontinental Championship match? Big E Langston versus Curtis Axel. As you know, Langston's title reign is just getting started, and fans were buzzing for the big man when he dethroned Axel. And WWE, you gotta think, will make sure that Axel gives him a tough time in the rematch, but it's too early to yank that title off of Langston already, especially with all the momentum that Langston has been getting lately. Now let's talk about Cody Rhodes, the Usos, Rey Mysterio, and Goldust, versus the Shield and the Real Americans. As you know, the members of the Shield were once unstoppable. They're now vulnerable. WWE really should protect the Shield some bit by having some of the elimination come by way of disqualification. But this is a chance for the company to celebrate Mysterio's return as well. That likely means he gets the final pin. Antonio Cesaro has been looking increasingly impressive. Having him and Swagger challenge for the tag titles on Friday SmackDown is a sign that WWE is recognizing that. He should get a few eliminations and be one of the last man standing on the heel side. And, one of the safer predictions is that this match will be the best of the night. Our Divas traditional Survivor Series match, it's really going to be hard to take this one a little serious because it really didn't have too big of a build-up, to be honest with you. Just like most of these matches, it really didn't have that good of a build-up. But you gotta believe that the Total Diva stars are going to come out on top on this one. Now let's talk about the strange, demented Wyatt family. Now with this one, you gotta think that, the WWE, they're really wanting to build up the Wyatts. Why not have them go over? Why not have Eric Rowan and Luke Harper go over? WWE is pushing Bray Wyatt somewhat, and why not push Eric Rowan and Luke Harper at the same time, giving them all the strong point here. And another loss for CM Punk and Daniel Bryan, you gotta think. It's not good to lose, but especially with Daniel Bryan's losing streak as of late, you could say. And CM Punk, he's been on a winning streak as of late, but you still gotta think that you gotta put the Wyatt family over, especially that they're new and upcoming and fresh. Then let's talk about main event 1, John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio. If you have to make just one bet on a winner at any pay-per-view, this is gonna be the safest bet. Cena, back on top after returning from injury, Cena will fight off Del Rio, injured arm and all. Giving Del Rio the championship back soon isn't great at all. Cena's survival against all odds is more of WWE style as of late because he's Super Cena. And we saw that very thing at Hell in a Cell, and then the night after when Damien Sandow failed to cash in on John Cena. And Del Rio has been world champ for most of 2013, but don't bet on him winning it 3 times in the same year. No one has done that in the World Heavyweight Championship history. Now let's talk about our main event. Randy Orton versus The Big Show. Triple H says that Orton is on his own time. Is on this time. And there will be no interference from the Shield or the Authority. He wouldn't be the first authority figure to lie, though, in WWE or elsewhere. WWE has done a decent job of making Big Show look dangerous and like a legit threat to win. That's likely only to sell the pay-per-view and have this bout avoid being a predictable one. And it's been over 10 years since Big Show last won the WWE Championship, and the company seems to see him as a worthy challenger and not a WWE champ at this stage in his career. And this feud really is more about Triple H anyway. Losing to Orton only makes Big Show more angry as WWE leads in that inevitable battle. And talking about this, let's just move on here. Talking about the Big Show versus Randy Orton, and it being an unworthy of WWE Championship billing. We took the poll, and this is really all we're going to touch on. Which top match are you most looking forward to? I would have to say Wyatt and Bryan and Punk. And that poll certainly showed that the Wyatts, Bryan, and Punk are good to look forward to. Surprisingly, the Big Show and Orton did take second over Cena and Del Rio, but